Hmm. Okay, we got to make this one quick. It's got to be quick here. So let's see. Boom. And lo-fi. Close. Mm, well, why does that happen? Uh-oh. Oh, I see. Uh, what's up? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, what's up, everyone? I'm gonna have to do this pretty fast because I was super busy today. I had a lot of calls and stuff. I got to meet the CEO of Smart Locating. That was really cool. We did a call together. I'm gonna just do some announcements, answer some questions, and then I gotta go. All right, let's see. Let's do an intro real quick before we get into this Q&A. Here we go.
And welcome to the live Q&As. In this live stream, you can ask me anything you want. I'm an expert when it comes to apartment locating, digital marketing, paid advertising, organic tactics, really everything in the real estate industry or digital marketing industry. Why do we choose to be locators over realtors? The reason we choose to leverage our real estate license and specifically become locators over realtors is because the job is easier and we can make more money. That's just the quick answer. Nowadays, locators average closer to 80K a year. Okay, some make way more, some make less. And then realtors average 50K, which is a little higher than what the old average, I think, was 45K for realtors for like the longest time. Now that's increased to 50K. But hey, locators average 80. So I was saying this to everyone years ago. No one really believed me except for our students. But nowadays, what's really exciting is that you can just go to Indeed or Glassdoor or ask ChatGPT, and it'll just prove that for you. Locators make more money because the business is easier. All right. While realtors have to deal with so many steps before they close a client, locators, we can just post a bunch of free ads, take 10-minute Zoom calls, send the clients by themselves. They drive by themselves to the apartments. They write our name down, and that's our commission right there. What's even more amazing is that we're positioning ourselves as agents, helping our clients during the first stage of home ownership. Because what do you think people do before they buy a house? They rent an apartment. That's the natural first step evolution before someone saves a bunch of money, advances in their career, and then decides to buy a house. So it's really amazing if you're following along is that, yes, the business is easier. We can make more money, but inevitably, as long as you've got a CRM like that's sophisticated, you can automatically nurture relationships with your renter clients that are already making you six figures. You can nurture that relationship, extract more referrals from their friends or family, and do the same easy job of referring them to an apartment. But what's amazing is that once these renters evolve and become first-time home buyers, it's so much easier to work with the same client that already has a business relationship with you. So that's how you can kind of take that renter lead, evolve it into a first-time home buyer, and that's 10 or 20K a pop. That's why we're so excited about this industry. Anyhow, welcome to the Q&As. In just a second, it will start, and then you'll get to ask me whatever you want live. See you real soon.
Okay, cool. I'm back. All right, we've got some questions here compiled. So let me just answer them real quick and then jump off. If you guys can't hear me though, if you can comment and just say like I can hear you, then that helps. So please someone do that. And then let me just answer these questions. All right. So from Emily, what's up, Emily? Will Locator IQ automatically show my clients real-time pricing and availability once the smart integration is live? Or do I still have to like check smart separately? Yeah, so with IQ, we give you a shortcut as a sub menu. You can click on it, it just boots up smart. So as long as you're already logged into smart once through any tab, then it'll just pop up. So it's not like it's in IQ, but we do give you a shortcut to just boot it up on a separate tab. You want it on a separate tab anyways, Emily, because it's easier to like see. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't want it like iframed into IQ. That wouldn't really make sense. Let me show you what I'm talking about real quick though, while we're on that topic. Let me do you guys like my Tulum, Mexico shirt with the turtle? I got this scuba diving in Tulum. Okay. Um, I know not the fanciest background, right? I'm not in my fancy house. I'm somewhere else for today. So we got basic what's it called? Uh sheetrock. I almost forgot what it was called. Okay. Let me just share my screen real quick. Boom. And let me show Emily like the integration with Smart so she's not confused. Entire screen, boom. Let me share this. Okay. Let's see if it's working. All right. So look, I'm in Smart right now. I'm in Locator IQ right now. Okay. So Emily was like, "Hey, do you have an integration with smart locating?" Right? So not really, but look, if you scroll down, I just make it like a sub menu. So it says like smart database right there. And so you can just click on it. Also, we do the same thing for Spark. So as long as you're like logged into one of the databases, this is what happens. Watch, you click right here. boom, and it's like a shortcut, and it just kind of boots it up for you. You see? So that's how you can kind of access it within IQ. We just make it super easy, and then you can start a search and then use Smart this way. Okay. We just hopped on a call. I hopped on a call today with the CEO of Smart Locating a couple hours ago. It was really cool. And we're working on getting exclusive pricing. So, like all of our students that sign up to either our full 8-week Locator Academy, or they get Locator IQ Premium, the all in one CRM that does everything. If you're subscribed to either or, then you can unlock like even lower exclusive pricing to Smart Locating. Okay, we already have that kind of going on with the Spark database, since it was one of our Locator Academy students that like founded it, co-founded Spark. So we do have like a huge discount. I think it's like 60% off that we can offer to our IQ subscribers or our Locator Academy students, and we're working on some kind of a discount for Smart Database as well, since I just met their CEO today. It's on like my Instagram story or something. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let me show you the shortcut to Spark. You just click right here and watch, boom. Now you're like inside of Spark. So it is kind of a shortcut, but it's not like inside of IQ, Emily. It's not like iframed in IQ, if that makes sense, right? It just kind of pulls up a tab, and things work better this way instead of having it like iframed inside. Okay, let me get rid of that. And then now let me just go ahead and ask the other questions in here. I can hear you. What's up, Don Simpson? Thanks so much for commenting. Okay, cool. Looks like you guys can hear me. Now let's go into, let's see. Let me get rid of this, get rid of that. And cool. So let's see here. What's up, Marcus? Marcus is asking, like how does your the smart integration on IQ help us close faster? Like what changes? Oh, nothing really changes, Marcus, but like what we're working on now is like their CEO and I were working on like a simple webhook. So whenever you create contacts in IQ, it auto creates them in Smart, and then Spark and I are we're working on that as well. So that way, like when you create when because Locator IQ should be like your ultimate CRM. So when you're creating contacts, however they're being created, whether you're creating them in IQ manually, or they're texting you or emailing you or messaging you on social media, or completing a survey or completing a form, like however contacts are created, it'll just auto create them on the database as well. So once you're like doing a search for a client, you don't have to like create another contact, the same contact that already lives in IQ. So we're working on those two integrations now. That's just going to speed things up, but that's the only real difference. Okay. Let's see. Smart data going to work inside the Vigo so clients can update the pricing automatically. Or is that still manual? I didn't understand that question. Let me move on to Brandon. Okay, let me. Yes. Oh, so Brandon's asking, does that mean we get better pricing on like Smart? Yeah, exactly. So if you're subscribed to like IQ or you're a Locator Academy student, then you can unlock lower pricing on both either or both databases. Brandon, we're still final. We have the coupon already active for Spark, so they give us like all of Texas coverage for like $30 a month instead of 69 a month if you're an IQ member or a Locator Academy student. Okay, and we're working on that for Smart Locating as well. Okay, let's see here. Is the difference between and so Jasmine's asking like, what's the difference between like Locator IQ and then like what Smart Locating offers, and like why do you need both? Yeah, that's a good question. So like Locator IQ, think about it as like a traditional ultimate CRM. So like with any business you run, you have to have like if you're in sales or really just any business, you have to have like pipeline marketing. You have to have a way to organize your leads in certain life cycle stages. So if it's a new lead, it's in process, or they're closed, right? So that's kind of like a very simple way to explain pipeline marketing. A lot of people that like don't really know what they're doing, or they're using a really basic tool, they'll go use like Trello for free, or like Monday, or something really simple. But when you have like when you start using tools that provide better pipeline marketing, you can really, really get organized no matter how many leads you work. So you have to have like a good, sophisticated pipeline marketing system. What's cool about IQ is that like not only can we organize everyone on a pipeline, but depending on what stage they're at, we can fire off automations that'll like text them and email them and drop a voicemail and really kind of like help in that aspect as well. So to answer your question, like Locator IQ is kind of like business infrastructure, where Smart Locating or Spark database is a locator database. So like one is apartment data. That's where you'll need a database. Like if you want to choose which apartments to recommend and email to your clients, you need a database for that. If you want to maybe create a really basic invoice real quick, you need a database for that, right? So think about like apartment data, compiling apartment lists, sending apartment lists to clients or texting it to them. That's what you need a database for. But IQ is like everything business infrastructure wise. So if you're like, I need a calendar to organize my book calls. Well, IQ does that. If you need some way to dial on your CRM, so those calls are recorded and saved to every client card automatically. That's what IQ can do. If you need a survey online to do the pre-qual for you through a one question at a time survey, IQ handles that. If you need a sales funnel builder or a website builder, right? That's what IQ does. So like IQ does everything in terms of like everything a business needs for infrastructure, but we're not like a database, you know? So we're not like calling thousands and thousands of apartments and updating the pricing and updating the commissions and allowing you to compile a list. That's what you need a real locator database for. It takes a really big company and a lot of investors like on board to really provide a good solution for a locator database, right? I mean, managing a CRM the way we do is also difficult, but like a database, can you imagine? It's like tens of thousands of properties that somehow you have to keep track every single week or few days with their pricing and their commission. And so, you know, there are some kind of like automatic pricing dynamics that some of these databases will connect into, but it just doesn't cover every apartment. So there's always like a manual aspect, and there's always a building a team that manually calls the apartments to get accurate pricing and commission, and that gets really overwhelming. So like that's the difference. Who asked that? Daniel. Yeah, that's the difference there. So like Locator IQ is business infrastructure. The database, whether it's Spark or Smart, is like the apartment data, you know? Okay. Will IQ send a link from my Smart? Do I have to take a screenshot? Data right now. Oh, so Elitz is like, hey, when clients ask for updated rent numbers, like the updated pricing, um, will IQ let me send them a link, like pulling from Smart? No, not really. You just use Smart, like the database for that. So like when you send a list using any database, usually they're dynamically changing. Definitely for Spark it is. So like for Spark, if you send a list of apartments to someone and then a week or two goes by and then they look at that list again, it dynamically updates the pricing. So you don't have to like send a second list, you know, because it's been 2 weeks. All that stuff just updates in real time. I think maybe Smart does that now, but Spark definitely they do that on purpose. Okay. We have to Smart IQ since we have more. I don't know what that means. Will the Smart integration will um, we get so many questions as well, guys. Like, even though it might not seem like it, most of us are in the school group, and like those, the people that attend from school, you don't see on these lives since we're using StreamYard on like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but it doesn't combine the group audience. But yeah, we get a lot of questions from primarily school and then secondary YouTube. But yeah, if I can't like grammatically read your question, I'm just gonna skip it. So, um, sorry, Vanessa. I can't. I don't know what you're trying to say. So let's go skip forward to Ethan. Um, does that mean IQ replaces both Spark and so once Smart is inside IQ, does that mean IQ would replace both Smart, Spark, and Smart? No. So yeah, Ethan, you're not gonna IQ is never gonna replace a database. It'll do everything except for being a database. So just choose one like Spark database or Smart database, and then we can give you exclusive like a discount price. We have like 60% off of Spark, so that's cool. It's the only way to get that is like through us. Um, and so, yeah, you know, you would choose one of them. Well, we're not gonna replace, like a real database solution. That'll always be, necessary. So really the only 2 tools to use is like Locator IQ and a database. That's 2 tools. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need like all these other tools like Calendly, Trello, and all these other, you know, Typeform. because IQ does all of that. Okay. And technically speaking, like if you really want to get basic, the only real tool you need, Ethan, is like a database. You know, if you just sign up for a database and you just follow up like using Trello for free, it's not the most sophisticated thing ever. There's also no ghosting support like IQ, but you can do that. I mean, I did that for my first 3 years, is I just used Trello for free for like my basic pipeline marketing, just so I had some kind of like an organized system. And then I just paid for smart locating for like my first 3 years and I made 6 figures every single year. So, it's not like really the only thing you really need is a database, but locator IQ just really enhances efficiency. Like, ghosting gets solved in the best way that you can do it. You can start booking Zoom calls, which are much more effective than just working manually and randomly like most locators, right? When you do a Zoom call properly, your close rate increases every single time. And then you can record that Zoom video. And if you ever need collection support, Ethan, you can send out that video and say, like, nope, I did the work. This is my recorded Zoom video. And then they pay you faster. So like all of that infrastructure stuff, you would need IQ for. So yeah, IQ is will take your career to the next level for sure. But technically speaking, you only really need a database to make money in this business, right? It's like if you're trying to get to point A to point B, can you do it with a bike? Yeah, sure, you can do it with a bicycle to go from point A to point B. But if you get in a car, you're going to go from point A to point B just in the way more superior than a bike, you know? So I hope that's a good analogy. Like, can you do locating with just like a $40 a month database? Yeah, you can. But when you integrate IQ, it's as if, now you've just entered, you upgraded from a bicycle to a car, it just is better. So that's kind of like the analogy there. Okay. I think that's all the questions we had from the school group. Um, yeah, I think that's it. Do you still use Constant Contact? No. No, I don't use Constant Contact. That's like Mailchimp. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of these other tools. Like, there's nothing wrong with Constant Contact, but it's just a basic email CRM, So that's like comparing, I don't know, like that's like comparing like I don't know, like a children's league in sports to like professional. You know what I'm saying? It's like your 8-year-old playing football, like their league compared to like pro football, It's like you're not gonna why. It's like they're still playing football, they're still accomplishing the same thing, right? So I look at tools like MailChimp, Constant Contact, whatever, Follow Up Boss, is like, yeah, can you send emails and create campaigns? Yes, you can. So if that's your only goal, yeah, it'll do that fine, but then you're missing out on like 10 other things you need. And especially automations, I would say, is way more important than just email campaigns. And so like no one does automations better than IQ. Yeah, as far as like a sophisticated, like well thought automations that support you with ghosting. They do a 1-year nurture, so you're talking to your clients throughout their lease term, and try to work them a second time or help them buy a house. There's just so much there. Even you can talk about the IQ survey as well, where we can embed a 4K video in a VSL like in the survey, which is like crazy, because even like I really love Typeform. We learned a lot from Typeform, but even Typeform won't let you upload a 4K video, not in a survey, because I don't know why, but you can do that in IQ. And so it's so powerful to just show people like a quick 1-minute VSL in 4K right when they start your survey. Like you can do these things in IQ. So yeah, I feel like the one thing I suck at is staying top of mind. Oh yeah. So someone is saying, I don't know your name, but I feel like the one thing I suck at is staying top of mind. Need email marketing or texts. Yeah, they're both really important, and voicemail drops as well. You got to just be careful with the voicemail drops because that can be annoying. Um, but yeah, it's really important. So whoever is asking that, like, what's cool about IQ, man, is when you sign up, everything's pre-built. So like the sequences and the automations, the emails and the text, like it's done for you. You have to go in and lightly edit it, the way you want your brand voice to sound like. Let me give you an example of that real quick, since you were asking that. Um, Let me give you an example. Boom. I'm going to share screen, entire screen share. All right. So look, this is the IQ template. So like, let's go down here. Let's go into the automations in IQ. Okay. And I can kind of show you some of this stuff here. Let's go into premium automations here. And so like this is what will separate like a MailChimp or like a Constant Contact from like what we do. Okay. This is like the gold right here. Okay. So we got a partial opt-in automation. So this means if someone starts your survey for the pre-qual, but then they quit and never complete it, then this fires off. So this is really cool because it notices that they bounced from your online prequal and then it waits a little bit for them to come back. And then if they don't come back, it'll text them and email them the same link to resume. So it'll say, like, hey, you started filling out the prequal survey. What happened? Like, click right here and resume. And because we do something, because IQ has something called sticky contact, if they click that link, it'll take them right where they left off. That's just massive for like retention, when you start working online and stuff. So like, yeah, Constant Contact isn't going to do that. NAL Connect. So this is different. NAL Connect is like how we can, when we close locator clients and find someone an apartment, we can actually make money by referring them automatically to our utility setup partner. We have a YouTube video where I did a collab with like Aubrey and her team, and they have a whole business taking a renter that's recently approved and setting them up with like renter's insurance, Wi-Fi, cable, movers, all that stuff, washer, dryer, rental, right? And they make money from that just by referring the providers and brokering that transaction. And then once whatever amount of money they make, sometimes it's like $1,000 or more, they pay you 20% net. So this is a great way to make a couple $100 more, like boost from your locator commissions in a simple automation that you just click in here and turn on. So that's also great. You're not going to get that from like a MailChimp. So yeah, we've built that right into an automation. Here's a long-term nurture. This one's really cool. This one's really important too. So like when you're working in IQ, you're in the pipeline, you're moving clients over to like new lead, they booked a call, okay, they're touring, okay, they applied, okay, they were closed, they got approved. When they're in the approved stage, you're supposed to we teach that you should tag them approved. So you keep track of all the contacts that you've actually closed that got approved for the apartment. When you tag them approved the way you should for basic organization, then it'll automatically fire off the 1-year nurture. And what this does is it plugs into ChatGPT AI and it will send them unique emails and text messages with like renter advice while they're living through their lease term. So like once a month. So it's not super spammy. But it like checks in with them and it's like, hey, what's up? It's the first of the month. This is Pierre, your locator. I just want to let you know, like, if you do get blackout curtains, not only can you sleep better, but it actually like prevents the sunlight, and then you'll save money on your utilities because it blocks out the sunlight. Just random advice like that. And then next month, it's like, hey, what's up? Did you know that if you leave your AC like at 75 degrees on average, you can save like 30% more than 71? I don't know. So it gives them like a bunch of advice like that, not really asking for anything in exchange for like 9 months. And then at the end of the lease term, it's like, hey, you're approaching your lease term. Like, have you considered buying a new home? A lot of the times you get your down payment waived. There's all these programs. They buy down the interest rate for you. They'll waive closing costs. So we build that in through AI. So like imagine all you have to do is like close an apartment locator client, tag them approved the way you normally would anyways, and then this automation fires for a year, like checking in with them, not being spammy but helpful. And then month 9, month 10, it's like, hey, you should really look into buying a house because of this. Click right here and book a call with me, and let's talk about a new home for you to purchase, right? And that happens while you sleep. So like the more and more people you close, it just puts them all in that automation. And it's not static because we plug into AI. So it's always a new email. It's always a new text, the way we've coded that prompt. You guys want to see it? Look, it's right here. We're going to come in here, enable autosave. Okay. And then look, here are the ChatGPT prompts. So it'll make you like an email body. It'll make you like an email subject, completely unique. And then it'll do like a ChatGPT text. So if we click in here in the text, 4.0, I guess we could switch it to like ChatGPT 5 now would be better. Okay. So yeah, you can choose your model right here. And then we have this like long prompt that it's like, hey, this is what you should do. Here are like 10 examples. What am I writing here? Let's see here. Um, oh, the Tesla Powerwall. Okay, that's more for like home buyers. But we just talk about random stuff here. Like, okay, look at this one. The most electricity consuming appliances in order are these. And then we go into it. AC usage, 5,000 watts constantly. Washer dryer usage, 5,000 watts per complete cycle. Toaster, 1,200 watts. Microwave, 1,200 watts. And we're just kind of letting them know like what actually uses the most energy. And so dishwasher 1,200 watts, LED light bulbs only 50, phone chargers 100 watts, right? Your laptop charger 170. And then we tell them like focus on the big ones like the AC or the washer dryer usage so you can really start saving money. Don't worry about your LED light bulbs and leaving the lights on. That doesn't even matter. It's like 50 watts, right? And so we're just giving them all kinds of like advice like that, like for like 9 months. And so it's just, they appreciate that. They're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's cool. And then so you're just a helpful agent. But at the end of the lease term, then we drive it harder home and we're like, hey, you should book a call. Let's get you into a house. Even if you don't want to buy a house, how about we find you a new apartment with like 8 weeks free? Right. So the whole point there is to churn up repeat business through an automation that you just turn on once and you're done. So that's kind of like the point of IQ. All this stuff is pre-made. Of course, you can go in there and lightly edit it. You might not like the way a word sounds. So you go in there and you tweak it, right? But everything is like ready for you with IQ. So you don't have to sit there and like think about it the way my team and I did, right? Another really great automation is a ghosting automation right here. So like when you follow up with clients using IQ Pipeline, and then the system notices that you're like trying to reply to someone, but they're like ghosting you because they haven't replied in like 7 days, let's say, then the system will put them into a ghosting automation for 30 days. And it'll just like once every couple of days text them and email them, like asking them if they're still looking to rent, presenting deals, presenting specials, presenting client testimonials from the past, and asking them if they're still in the market to rent. And if they reply once, it turns off. Right. So like that's that ghosting support that you're not going to get from like, a basic CRM provider that doesn't even know what apartment locating is. So that's kind of the whole point of IQ is like, yeah, it's a CRM that does everything. Look, you can even dial on it. Like you can dial and all these calls are recorded. You could even pull up scripts too. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool that you could do that. Um, but yeah, so it's a all-in-one CRM. It's infrastructure, but it's already pre-built for like real estate agents and apartment locators. So, so you sign up for some other CRM, you got to put all the brain effort into like coming up with emails, coming up with text, let alone automations that are really going to help your efficiency. So it's all kind of done with IQ. And then we also give you like unlimited cloud storage. So like if you're creating a lot of 4K videos, a lot of images, a lot of customer testimonials, and you're running out of Google Drive or laptop space, you can just move everything over to IQ and it's like unlimited storage. So in the cloud, so that is also cool. Um, yeah. One day I was like, I kept getting charged for like freaking OneDrive storage. And I'm like, all right, screw this. I'm going to go to Google Drive. And I went to Google Drive and I exceeded my storage and I kept getting charged. And one day I just got so upset and I was like, that's it. Locator IQ, we're going to offer unlimited cloud storage for everyone, no matter what. Just because of my frustration, just like getting dinged on, like, oh, you're exceeding your cloud storage. That's another $20 a month. And you're like, God damn it. So, yeah, with Locator IQ, it's like unlimited cloud storage as well. So, it's like one thing you never have to worry about. Anyways, though, I have to go. Let's see here. Can IQ be residential sales friendly as well? Yeah, absolutely. So, like, if you look at here in IQ, if you go to the pipeline right here, and then we go to we have a pre-built pipeline called house buyers. And so this is the pipeline for like if you want to do residential sales using IQ, of course, because that's the natural next evolution. When you have renter clients and you close them, they're going to naturally evolve into first time home buyers. So yeah, of course we thought of that, you know. And so there's a whole pipeline that's pre-built. It's like new house buyer lead, booked the call, attended the call, mortgage application, pre-approval letter, right? Touring new home communities, and then offer sent, and then closing date, right? So this is kind of like the stages that we've thought of. Of course, you can add more stages, rename them if you want, but this is working really well for like what is loaded into IQ and ready to go. Last thing I'll say is that we are working on a breakdown video of Locator IQ that's more thorough on like what it does and stuff. It'll be like a 20-minute VSL. So it's already filmed up and everything. Right now it's being edited by our editing department. So once that is complete, I'll release it to everyone, and it's going to be like a free breakdown video, really kind of like me talking about it, doing B-roll of the features, so everyone can really understand Locator IQ better. But yeah, it's basically like a CRM that does absolutely everything for the apartment locating / real estate industry, but it's not a database. You need a separate database for that. Cool. Well, thanks so much for hopping on, guys. I think I answered all of the 10 questions from the school students, so I'm going to hop off now. And let's see here. I suppose I could end it with one of these testimonials, I guess.
Welcome to this awesome testimonial story from Andrew. He invested into our Locator Academy and made his money threefold back his very first month. His first 2 leases brought in really big commissions, and he loves just how simple the nature of this entire business is. Let's hear it from Andrew.
Hi, my name's Andrew. I'm a realtor / apartment locator here in Austin, Texas, and I just wanted to leave a quick review on Pierre's apartment locating masterclass. So I invested in the course about a year ago, and within my first month, I made my money back 3 times over. Just using tactics learned in the course, primarily the Craigslist auto poster. That's what did it for me the first month. I closed 2 deals. One was $2,300 commission. The other was $1,700 commission. So that's $4K right there on the first month. On top of the leads I was getting from referrals, from my broker, etc. And I gotta say, the course is just jam-packed with value. Pierre shows you how to automate the entire apartment locating process, using CRMs to follow up with past clients, using sales funnels to capture new leads, the whole 9, quite literally. And since buying the course, there's not been 1 month where I made less than 10 grand, typically quite a bit more than that. And so, sorry about that. I had to take a quick phone call. These leads won't stop blowing me up. Thank you, Pierre. And so in conclusion, if you are interested in or curious in getting into apartment locating, definitely invest in the course. You will make your money back 100-fold, probably more. And so go buy the course. Highly recommend it.
If our students can receive results like this, then so can you. Tap the link below this video, take the next step, and we'll see you on the other side.
Cool. See you guys later. I'm off to the gym, I suppose. Is that a funny testimonial? Like midway in his testimonial, he's like, oh, he had to take a lead. He's like, oh crap, someone's calling. He goes, these leads won't stop blowing me up. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, yes, I'm glad we captured that testimonial. Anyways, see you guys later. I'll see you next week. We do these at normally 5 p.m. CST. See ya.